shine on.
Thank you, Kristen. I'm Dr. Jack Herring, and I'm the Dean of the Undergraduate on-campus program here, and I want to extend my welcome to you all. And I know many of you have traveled. I'm wondering, how many of you in the audience have traveled out of state to be here today? Okay. How many of you have traveled more than 1,000 miles to be here today? Okay. How many of you have traveled from across the country to be here today? How many of you have traveled from outside of the country to be here today? Yes, quite amazing. I think we do have one person here today who wanted to remain anonymous, who traveled 8,000 miles from the United Arab Emirates to be here. So I just want everyone to give a round of thanks to all of you who made this tremendous effort to be here today. 6 or 7 years ago, when I wasn't the dean, and I was watching my inspiring predecessor, Gret Antilla, working as the dean, the one thing that I knew I could never try to match in what Gret did was her public presentations and her graduation speeches. In particular, I will never forget the number 7 speech, which slayed us all rather violently. I think we were pretty dysfunctional after that one for a while. And the degree to which she carried empathy and love into the audience from the podium was amazing. So the most surprising aspect of being the dean to me is that this is my favorite part of the job. There is nothing that I like better about being the dean than being up here right now. So It is a little bittersweet that this will be one of my last official acts as the dean of the on-campus undergraduate program, because I'll be stepping down and moving on in my life. But that also gives me the chance to be a little self-indulgent. So, I'm going to walk down a slightly parallel path to the one Kristen described on our journey. It is a punctuated journey, and we stand today at an exclamation mark that is worth lingering over. So I want to go back and remember when you arrived also, but not just remember that you were at orientation and then we saw you at resupply and many of you started becoming confident, but how many of you did I serve ice cream or cream pie to at resupply? Quite a few, yes. It's really fun to serve a bunch of pure processed sugar to a bunch of people in the middle of a backpacking trip and watch what happens. But you very quickly adopted our academic culture, with its expectations on the one hand of being chronically 5 minutes late for everything. You may have noticed we started graduation 9 minutes late today, so that's part of our culture. And of course, expecting extensions on assignments for every due date. But on the other hand, and more significantly, you from almost the beginning started to take a great deal of ownership for what you believed you could get out of your education, rather than waiting for us to tell you what you should be aspiring to. Many of you also quickly adopted our culture of hygiene, although I would call it low-gene. As my esteemed colleague Bob Ellis says, instead of having a school mascot, Prescott College has a school odor.